Okay, students, now we start our paper solid state physics. The name itself implies that we will deal with solids only. We know already what do you mean by solids. Yes, solids are nothing but they are closely bound atoms. It will conduct the things. If we are giving heat energy, then it will conduct the heat energy. If we are giving electrical energy, then it will conduct electrical energy. If we give magnetic field, then it obeys as magnetic solids. So solids are closely bound atoms. Example of solids we know already. Yes, sir. You may come across wood is an example, glass, then other solid materials what we are all seeing. For example, you are seeing your wall. Wall is made up of stones. Stones are nothing but solids. We are seeing all the things which are closely bound are called solids. In this first unit, we will study about basics of crystallography. Here, that means solids are defined on the basis of crystals. In that crystallography, we will read about crystal geometry. What do you mean by crystal lattice? And what are crystal planes? And what are Miller indices and unit cells? Then we will study about different types of crystal structures. Basically, there are three structures: simple cubic crystal, body centered cubic crystal, face centered cubic crystals. In that basis, every solid, every crystal should obey any one thing. If maybe SC, that is simple crystal cubic crystal, or BCC, body centered cubic crystal, or it belongs to face centered cubic crystal. In this crystal structure, mainly we will study about sodium chloride, that is NaCl, then diamond structures and ZNO, zinc oxide structure, etc. Then when we are studying about these structures, coordination number, packing fractions are the important parameters to define a crystal. Then we will study about symmetry elements. What do you mean by a symmetry? If you are doing an operation, by this operation there will be no change taking place in the crystal structure, only the properties will change. In these symmetry elements, there are mainly rotational symmetry, inversion symmetry and reflection symmetry. And also we will study about basics of point groups. If we are changing the crystal symmetry in line, then it is called as point group symmetry operation. When you are changing the crystal structure, and not a structure, you are applying a crystal property, symmetry property, whether it is a translational, otherwise we are called as it is a translational symmetry properties, that is inversion or rotation or reflection, then they are called as space group symmetry structures. So point group symmetry, space group symmetry. We will study these things elaborately in the coming classes. Then there is another important topic called reciprocal lattice of crystallography. Reciprocal lattice of crystallography. It has some important points and properties in a reciprocal lattice. After studying this reciprocal lattice, we will study about X-ray diffraction in the crystal lattice. Mainly in X-ray diffraction, we will see about Laveau formulation of X-ray diffraction and Laveau's parts about rotating crystals. So these are the things we will cover in the first unit. Hope I will send my first unit notes. All you are having that notes in your hand. Now I will continue my class. You follow the class and read the things from my notes. Okay, right. Then, what is solid state physics? We already told that it will deal with a solids. And it should be a main branch of condensed matter physics. Sometimes condensed matter physics is nothing but the combination of solids and liquids also. So, in higher studies, you will study condensed matter physics. In our Pondicherry University also, we are having MSc condensed matter physics, a full branch of condensed matter physics. But for that condensed matter physics, the solid state physics is a basic one. So we should study these solid state physics very interestingly and very sincerely, and these are the basics of condensed matter physics also. All nanosciences, all types of materials, all types of material properties, whether it may be electrical property of a solid or a magnetic property or structural changes in the solids, all comes under this condensed matter physics only. Similarly, material science is a primarily concerned with physical and chemical properties of solids. That is, MSc material science is a separate field. In that material science, it will deals with the physical and chemical properties of solids. Then, in nature, all the materials, maybe it is in the form of solids or liquids or gases, or in the form of plasma. Therefore, in a nature, the materials or the matter should be within these four states. Maybe solids, maybe liquids, maybe gases, maybe plasma. So, what is a solid? Here we are only dealing with solids only. So solids, there will be two types: amorphous solid, crystalline solid. Amorphous solid means it should be in a powdered manner. Crystalline solids means it should be like a crystal. If you are seeing a powder, then it is an amorphous. For example, if you are seeing a sugar pieces, it should be like a crystal. So they are called as crystalline solids, and these are called as amorphous solids, which are as powder in nature. But both the solids, whether it may be amorphous or it may be crystalline, it has these following properties. What are the following properties? Electrical conductivity, conductors, semiconductors, insulators. So when you are dealing with a solid and it has what are the electrical conductivity natures, then you should read about conductors, semiconductors and insulators. The name itself telling that conductors means it will conduct the electricity from one place to another place. Semiconductor means it will partially conduct the field, electrical field. Insulator means it will not conduct the electricity. Basically, conductors, we know the examples of iron, copper, all are called as conductors. Insulators, we know insulation tapes, plastics, glass, these are all insulators. Semiconductors, tell me two names. Semiconductors, what are the semiconductors you know? Yes, silicon and germanium. These are the examples for semiconductors. Nowadays there is a separate physics field called semiconductor physics. So it is a big branch of physics, but it will comes under condensed matter physics only. Okay, then we will read about magnetic properties. In magnetism, that is when you are applying a magnetic field for a solid, it may be paramagnetic material, diamagnetic material, ferromagnetic material, ferrimagnetic material, antiferromagnetic material. Antiferrimagnetic material is also there. So, the solids may be amorphous, may be crystalline. It has the property of electrical conductivity. It has the property of magnetism. In another way, these solids should be separated. Bulk solids, then nanosolids. It should be based on the size of the solid. Normally what we are seeing are called bulk materials, bulk solids. Whether the size is 10 power minus 9, the range of 10 power minus 9, then that materials are called as nanomaterials, and also the type of solids are called nanosolids. Liquids also there, nanoliquids also there. So here we are dealing about only solids. So solids can be divided into two parts, maybe amorphous solid in nature or maybe crystalline solids in nature. Whether it may be amorphous or crystalline, we don't care about that things. It has the properties of electrical conductivity, it has the properties of magnetic properties, and it should be divided on the basis of size. So solids can be divided on the basis of electric conductivity nature. It may be divided on the basis of magnetism, and it should be divided on the basis of size. Okay. Then what are solids? We know already solid is one of the four fundamental states of matter. So a matter, that is, a matter is nothing but tiny particles. These are called as matter. That matter, what we are seeing in our universe, will be solids or liquids or plasma or gases. So solid is one of the four fundamental states of matter. We already told that the molecules in a solid or the atoms in the solid are closely packed together. When there is closely packed together, there will be no kinetic energy, we know. So it has least amount of kinetic energy. A solid is characterized by structural rigidity and resistance when we are applying a force on the surface of a solid. So a solid is characterized by structural rigidity or resistance to a force applied to the surface. In the case of liquids, if your bowl, you are having a tumbler, and in that tumbler you are pouring a liquid or a water, then what will be the shape of that liquid? That shape should be the tumbler size. Similarly, when there will be a box. Inside that box you are filling a gas. That box, or it may be a cylinder, you are filling a gas. So you will define what will be the shape of that gas. If it is filled in the box, then it is box size gas. If you are filling the box as if you are filling the gas in a cylinder, then it is the shape of the cylinder. But in the case of solids, it is not the case. The atoms in a solid are bound to each other either in a geometric lattice or irregular. We already told these things. If it is a geometric lattice, then it is a crystalline solid. If it is irregular, that is a powder in nature, then it is called a amorphous solid. In the earlier point also, solid object does not float to take on the shape of its container. As liquid, also does it expand to fill the entire available volume like a gas. So it will not, as liquid, as gas in the case of shape. In the case of shape. Solids cannot be compressed with little pressure, but whereas gases can be compressed with little pressure because the molecules are in a gas are loosely packed. We know already that gases having the molecules loosely packed. Therefore, when you are giving a simple little pressure, it will be compressed. But in the case of solids, it is not the case because the atoms or the molecules in the solids are closely packed. So, heavy pressure is needed to make a solid as a compressed matter. So, then what are the examples of solids? Metals, minerals, ceramics, glass ceramics, organic solids such as wood, polymers, composite materials, semiconductors, nanomaterials, biomaterials, all are comes under the category of solids. Okay, so solids are nothing but it is a four fundamental states of matter. They are closely packed, has least amount of kinetic energy. It does not have a shape of the container. Then it may be a crystalline solid or it may be an amorphous solid. It requires higher energy to compress. Okay, so these are solids, properties of solids. Then we will see about properties of liquids and properties of gases and properties of plasma also. Because as this is a introductory class, first you should know what is the differences between solids, liquids, gases and plasma, and then we will study only solids. Okay, right. So what is a liquid? Liquid also it is a fundamental matter, one of the fundamental matter. A liquid is nearly incompressible fluid in nature that confirms the shape of its container but retains a constant volume independent of pressure. It does not depend upon the pressure, but it retains its constant volume and also it has the shape of the container. As we already told, if you are using a bowl, the shape of that liquid should be that bowl shape. If you are using a tumbler, it should be a tumbler shape. If you are using a conical flask, then the shape of that liquid should be as conical flask shape. It is the only state with definite volume but no fixed shape. Yeah, the shape will be changed. But in the case of solids, the shape cannot be changed. Here, if you are changing your container, then the shape of that liquid also will change. Okay, so there will be no fixed shape. A liquid is made up of tiny vibrating particles of matter, such as atoms, held together by intermolecular bonds. All the liquids should be held together by intermolecular bonds. Like a gas, a liquid is able to flow and take the shape of the container. We know all these things. These are all basic things you know already. The density of a liquid is usually close to that of a solid but much higher than a gas. Solids and liquids, the density will be merely the same, but in the case of gases, liquid has a higher density. Therefore, liquids and solids are both termed as condensed matters. Okay, you know now the name why it is called as condensed matter physics. We already told. So, condensed matter means both density are higher and both density are closer to each other. Therefore, these are called as condensed matter. But gases are not condensed matters. On the other hand, as liquids and gases share the ability to flow, they are both called as fluids. Liquids and gases are called as fluids. Okay, so these are the properties of liquids. Then what are gases? Similarly, gas is one of the four fundamental states of matter. A pure gas may be made up of individual atoms. The gases, we separate the gases on the basis of combination. A pure gas may be made up of individual atoms. For example, noble gas like neon, argon. So these are all only based on individual atoms. Then the elemental molecules made from one type of atom, then that type of gases also available. Example, oxygen, nitrogen. So these are all examples of combination of only one atom. That gas should be made up of only one atom. Maybe it is helium gas, oxygen gas, then hydrogen gas. So these are the examples. These type of gases also possible. Another type of gas formation, compound molecules, carbon dioxide. So in carbon dioxide there is a carbon atom and two oxygen atoms. So these combination also make gas. Carbon monoxide, this is carbon dioxide. These are the examples of gases. A gas mixture such as air. So air contains a variety of pure gases. In what we are inhaling, it is oxygen, but gas, the air contains more gases. It has noble gases, it has a combination of atom gases, it has a combination of compound molecule gases. So it is a mixture of gases also available. What distinguishes a gas from liquids and solids? How a gas is differ from liquids and solids? It is a vast separation of individual gas particles. So gas particles are not closely bound, they are very loosely bound. So this is the difference between liquids and solids than gases. This separation usually makes a colorless gas invisible to human observer. We can't see oxygen gas. Hey, there is going oxygen gas. So here it is hydrogen gas. Here it is carbon monoxide gas. We can't see the gas. These are all colorless, invisible to the human observer. So these are all the properties of gases. These are the new topic, new matter called plasma. You may study about solids, you may study about liquids and gases. But this is plasma, I think you didn't read till now. Plasma is nothing but it is the fourth state of matter. Due to its unique properties, plasma has unique properties. Plasma is a gas in which the atoms are ionized state. There are free negatively charged electrons and positively charged ions. So a plasma is nothing but a gas, but the atoms are ionized. In normal gas, atoms are not ionized, but in plasma, gas, it is a form of a gas in which atoms are ionized. Ionized means what? It has both free negatively charged electrons and positively charged ions. Negatively charged electrons, it has positively charged ions also, but the atoms are in the ionized state. It is looking like a gas called plasma. This collection of charged particles can be controlled by electromagnetic fields. The plasma can be controlled by electromagnetic fields, and this allows plasma to be used as a controllable reactive gas. Basically, gases are not controllable, but this plasma, since it has an ionized nature in the gas format, it has both free negatively charged electrons and positively charged ions. These are all controlled by electromagnetic fields. That is, when you are applying electric field, it will obey. When you are applying magnetic field, this plasma obey according to the fields. Therefore, it is controlled by electromagnetic fields. And these are all called as a controllable reactive gas. Nowadays, the electronic industry uses this concept to make silicon, to make our modern day devices smaller and more efficient. So nowadays, plasmas are used in the electronic fields to fulfill our new gadgets, electronic gadgets. Okay, so what we saw in nature, there are four fundamental matters, state of matters. One is solid, another one is liquid, another one is gas, another one is plasma. So hope you understand what are the four states of matter. Okay, right. You see here in this example, these are all crystal lattice points. You see here, it is a crystal lattice points. In this crystal lattice points, there are more atoms. This combination of these atoms, you see the shape. If this shape is regularly arranged in all the directions, then this is the structure of a crystal. Are you understand, students? That is, if these all the lattice points are arranged in regular manner in all the directions, then it forms a crystal structure. Now you see, otherwise it is called as basis. When the basis is repeated with the correct periodicity in all directions, it gives a crystal structure. Therefore, a crystal structure is defined as the combination of a basis and a lattice. Combination of lattice points forms a basis, and if this basis is repeated in all the directions, then it will give actual crystal structure of a crystal. The crystal structure may be real or it will be imaginary. The crystal structure is real while the lattice is imaginary. You see then, are you understanding the difference? Crystal structure is real. It is a simple cubic crystal. It is a body centered cubic crystal. It is a face centered cubic crystal. So crystal structure is real, but lattice is imaginary. You don't know what will be what will be the lattice point in that crystal. We can't see that crystal lattice point, but we will see the crystal structure. So what the structure we are seeing, it is a real, and what the points we are not seeing, it is an imaginary. Therefore, a crystal structure is nothing but the combination of a lattice and a basis.